and I'll begin by lighting our unity light. This represents that light of spirit that's in each and every one of us. We know that as we come together as a spiritual community, that light shines even brighter. So join me now as we open in prayer. We pause and take a deep breath, breathing in that breath of spirit, breathing out that energy of love. Breathe in that breath of spirit and breathe out the energy of love. As we come together for this service today, we bless this time, knowing that it unfolds perfectly because it is all God and only God. I know that this day is a blessed day. And so for this time that we have together, I know it is sacred, I know it is perfect, and I bless each one that's here and each one that listens to this service in the future, knowing that we are one with the power and presence of the divine. I release my word, and so it is. So welcome to the Louisville Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Rick McCollum, and I will share our welcome slide here with you to remind you that we are an inclusive community, and that means that we honor all paths to the divine. We know that there's not just one way to experience a relationship with the God of your understanding. So wherever you are on your spiritual journey, know that you are welcome here and that we are glad that you're with us today. So thank you for being here. We have a special service planned and some great things for you. So we'll begin with our opening song called Come by Denise Rosier.
Come, take a hand, come, give your heart, come, as you are, come, 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 lift your voice, come, shine your light, come, now is the time, come, come, this day we have made with God, come see what love has done, come, take a hand, come, give your heart, come, as you are, come, 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 lift your voice, come, shine your light, come, now is the time, come, come, as we gather in this sacred place, Spirit meets us face to face, come, take a hand, come, give your heart, come, as you are, come, 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 lift your voice, come, shine your light, come, now is the time, come, come, come.
And today, We're having a special ceremony, so I'm going to begin with that, and it's the installation of our Board of Trustees. You'll see their pictures here, and I'll stop sharing this slide in just a moment. But I want you to know that this ceremony to install the Board of Directors for the Louisville Center of Spiritual Living, these individuals have stepped forward in their faith to guide our organization. By definition, board members are the fiduciaries who steer the organization towards a sustainable future by adopting sound, ethical, and legal governance and financial management policies, as well as by making sure the nonprofit has adequate resources to advance its mission. While the Board of Trustees is not the spiritual arm of the center, board members do function according to spiritual principle. For that reason, board members are required to have taken a Science of Mind foundational course to become familiar with spiritual principles and how they work. If appropriate, board members can be granted a period of 12 months to complete a foundational course after they begin on the board. So if board membership calls to any of you, we still have open positions, and we would welcome you into that leadership. For today, let me introduce you to our Board of Trustees. You see on the left here, Vicki Jeter, who is currently serving as our president of the board. Next is Pat Ferguson. Pat is filling two roles. She is both our secretary and our treasurer, so she can use some help. Bev Ein is a member at large. Bev was on the board and then left, and then she rejoined the board in 2021. So we are happy to welcome her back on the board this year. And our newest member of the board is Doug Iveson. Doug is a member at large, and he has joined the board just this month. So we're very excited for that. I am an ex officio member of the board, which means I'm on the board by virtue of my position as spiritual director. And finally, we had Gordon Newton, who has been serving on our board, and Gordon is taking a year off for a medical leave for his healing, and so we bless him for his service and bless him in his healing. Now, I'll stop sharing my slides so you can see the board members as I speak to them. So to our board members, the responsibility of a board is not something to be taken lightly. Will you dedicate yourself to fulfilling the duties as a board member for the Louisville Center for Spiritual Living with diligence?
I will.
I will.
And thank you. Will you seek to make decisions using compassion and spiritual guidance to the best of your ability?
I will.
I will.
Will you faithfully execute your duties for the highest good of the membership of the Louisville Center for Spiritual Living?
I will.
I will.
Thank you. And now to the members and friends of the Louisville Center for Spiritual Living, all of you that are here today witnessing this, will you support these individuals who are dedicating themselves to serving and leading as your board of trustees? If so, answer I will, or since we're all muted, give a thumbs up. Thank you. See, we're learning to participate in Zoom. Thank you all. Now, by the power vested in me from Centers for Spiritual Living, it's my pleasure to officially install each of you as our Board of Trustees for the Louisville Center for Spiritual Living. Let us pray. We pause and look at these who have stepped forward into leadership for this spiritual community. And I speak a special word of blessing on each one of them as they offer themselves to that divine mind, and as they open their mind and their heart to the wisdom of spirit, so that as they do the work of this spiritual center, they do it mindfully, They do their work with great intuition and with great condition of wisdom that they receive from that infinite mind. And so I bless each one as they have brought themselves forward to stand up and say yes to the call of Spirit for leadership. With this blessing, I know they go forth into the world as bright lights, shining forth in all they do, blessing this community and leading us forward in magnificent ways. I release my word, and we bless them by saying together, and so it is. And now, you can congratulate the board, and what we do on Zoom to congratulate is this is a hand clap. So you can say congratulations to our board. Thank you. Thank you. And now I'm going to turn it over to Tammy for our spiritual reading, followed by our time of meditation.
Thank you, Reverend Rick. Thank you. Today's reading is from this month's guide, Science of Mind, and it's a unique month in that they took a reader, different readers through the years instead of one reader doing the whole month. So it's been very good because you got a lot of different opinions in 1 month. So if you can, take it and read it. My reading today is making powerful choices. We determine what we will do with our circumstances. Howard Thurman, for the Inward Journey. We should be able to look at a wrong condition with the knowledge that we can change it. Ernest Holmes. Life is filled with unexpected twists and turns that can sometimes leave us feeling like life is against us. However, it is our response to what happens in life that determines our experience as we go through challenging times. We choose whether we respond from feeling of powerlessness and victimhood or with power and confidence that nothing happening out there can change the truth that life is for us and never against us. It is empowering to understand that we decide what to do in our lives. No one else has that power unless we give our power away. Sometimes we may not realize we have handed over our power. A sure sign that we have is when we have a gnawing feeling that we did not do or say something that is in alignment with what we know is best for us. We make a choice out of fear or a need to be liked or to please another at our own expense. I can remember years ago doing things for another person that I did not do for myself. When I realized what I was doing, I began to make different choices and set healthy boundaries. I stopped blaming the other person for my choices and used the experience to inform my future decisions. We choose who determines what we do in any circumstance. The key is to know that we have the power to decide how we respond to life and to use it with confidence and with wisdom. And that was by Sheila Thomas, who's a practitioner. And our affirmation is, I have the power, confidence, and wisdom to make responsible choices for myself and release anything that no longer serves me. And our meditation for today is a gratitude meditation. We're going to be thankful all day. I love that. Just be thankful all day today. Welcome to this morning's gratitude meditation. Thank you for joining me. Please relax and connect with your breathing. Close your eyes and be at peace. Set intentions for this new day in knowing still new and unfolding moments of gratitude within. Say to yourself, as I go about this day today, I will notice all of the blessings, both great and small, for the things I am grateful for in my life. As I go about this day, I am aware of all aspects of my life that allow for gratitude. The privileges of my life, the knowing of another day, the privilege of love in my life, and the privilege of sharing all gratitude opportunities with the people in my life. As I go about this day, I may also notice the things I do not like that appear to be a challenge to my life. I will accept these and change what is possible. As I go about this day, I will look for opportunities to share these feelings of gratitude with others. I will begin my day with eyes wide open, with a gentle swelling of gratitude for my life. I will feel the grace in my heart that is granted to me. Namaste, my friends, and remember, you are all magnificent.
Thank you, Tammy. And now we'll move to our special music. And this is by Fearless Soul, and the song is I Am Already Enough.
I was searching, I was looking for meaning. I was wondering, desperately trying only to see I have nothing missing. Who said I have to find who I am? Who said that I am lost to begin with? I am already enough. Everything I need is within me. Each morning when I wake up, I'm grateful for the beauty around me. Life is a gift, I wanna enjoy it. Always proving my worth only destroys it. I am already enough. Everything I need is within me. My motivation can't be validation. I'd always be starving for more affection, the wrong attention, only to feel like I am nothing. Who said I have to find who I am? Who said that I am lost to begin with? I am already enough. Everything I need is within me. Each morning when I wake up, I'm grateful for the beauty
I am already enough, and everything I need is within me. Does your mind and body resonate with that message? Do you know that you are already enough, and everything you need is within you? And that is spirit. That is the God within you to live through you. Our talk today is free your mind and the rest will follow. If you have any pushback or hesitancy to that thought that you are already enough, if you hear something in your mind saying, well, no, not me, then I can guarantee you, you have some work to do. We can all learn new ways to free our mind from any limited thinking. So I want to share a couple ideas with you today on how you can free your mind. The first thing is the tool of spiritual mind treatment. This is our form of prayer. Some call it affirmative prayer because we are affirming what we know as the spiritual truth of our life. Even if we have chaos happening in our life, we can know the spiritual truth that the God within us is never in chaos. God is a God of order, of peace, of love. And anything that we, in our humanness, might judge as moving us away from those God qualities, then that's not the spiritual truth of us. Now, yes, sometimes we have things in our life we don't like. You can call it chaos, you can call it pain. People can say and do things that are mean or hurtful. We can have fear pop up that keeps us from moving forward in life. And those are especially the times when it's important to remind ourselves with affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment. We are treating our minds to remember our spiritual truth. Now, Ernest Holmes talks about turning away from the condition that we don't want in our life and setting our thoughts on the things that we do want. He says it's simple, but it's not easy. And that is the truth. It is simple, but it's not easy, especially when you have the reality of your circumstances right in front of your face. When you have the diagnosis, the surgery, the whatever happening, the loss of a job, then those circumstances tend to take our attention. And if that's not what we want, we must turn away from that. We must look at the spiritual truth that is behind all of that has never changed. That love, that peace, that joy of the divine that is deep within each and every one of us. And that's what we were made from. Many people are attracted to the science of mind philosophy so that they can manifest conditions and things in their material life. And yes, that can happen. But what if the use of affirmative prayer, spiritual mind treatment, has always been for the purpose of freeing us from our own limited thinking and beliefs? On page 186 of our textbook, it says, "A good treatment is always filled with the recognition of the presence of God, of good. This automatically wipes out any picture of undesirable conditions. For the Spirit of God is a law of elimination and obliteration to everything unlike itself." Now, when I read that, I thought it sounded very bold and maybe a little strange. But, as I sat and considered what Ernest Holmes was saying, it made a lot of sense to me. The first part, of course, a good treatment is always filled with the presence of God or good. We know that there is only God, That's the first step in our 5 steps of spiritual mind treatment. We know God is everywhere and all powerful. There's not God and something else. Many churches teach about a duality, God and the devil, 2 forces that are fighting for control of our lives. At Centers for Spiritual Living, we believe that there's only one power, and it's God, and it is good. And many of us were taught that growing up as children, that God is good. Now, I will say, there are what we judge as bad things that happen in our lives. And we certainly can see that there are things that we don't desire to have go on in our lives. But what if we free our minds to look only at the good? What if we turn away from our belief in a duality, God and the devil, good and evil, and focus our attention on the idea that God, the good, is all there is? I can tell you, when this is our thought process, can you see how the Spirit of God can be a law of elimination and obliteration of anything unlike itself? Because when we turn away from anything that is not God, because it's not the truth, it's not permanent, Spirit is the only thing that's permanent, that's eternal, then we find that grace to know only good. Would you be willing to try this idea for, say, 48 hours, to only look for the good? Maybe you should try it even longer, like for the rest of your life. Raymond Charles Barker wrote a book, and I'm going to share several things from it today. It's called Treat Yourself to Life. And in one of his chapters here, he's explaining that idea of duality in New Thought terms. And he said in New Thought, the belief is not God versus the devil. It's the subconscious mind versus the conscious mind. And he says, when your conscious mind deliberately accepts a creative idea, so here we have this new thought, a creative idea that we want, and when your conscious mind delivers it to the subconscious with a sense of authority, the law of the subconscious proceeds to produce in your experience what this idea has ordered done. He goes on to say that the conscious mind is the decider of your experience. We consciously choose our experience. And the subconscious mind is the producer of our experience. He says both phases of mind are spiritual processes working together. So, if we consciously choose what we want, we choose to turn away from anything that doesn't look like God and focus just on the good, then our subconscious mind can produce that for us. That's what we'll see more of. What you think about, you bring about. Raymond Charles Barker in his book says, I call treatment mind surgery. It is the way in which you go into the subconscious and destroy old patterns and instill new ones. This may not be instantaneous, but it can be done. To me, this is what Ernest Holmes was saying when he said that the Spirit of God is the law of elimination and obliteration to everything unlike itself. So, spiritual mind treatment is the key. And Raymond Charles Barker said, treatment for 15 minutes a day is not enough. You must maintain a consistent, constructive, overall attitude if you wish to change the subconscious mind. It's a discipline you must maintain until it becomes automatic. When I read that and thought about it, it reminded me of my work in 12-step recovery. I have found that the individuals who are most successful in living their recovery are the ones who have consistently changed their thoughts and kept them changed. They take responsibility for their behaviors. They're clear that their past thinking did not work well for them. It only brought them into their addiction. So keeping their minds focused on recovery, on what they want, changes their experience. They use affirmations, calls with their sponsor, program meetings, and recovery readings to create the change in their thinking. And over time, this becomes more automatic. But yes, it takes time and effort to change those old thinking patterns. As spiritual beings having a human experience, we would do well to follow this type of recipe for successfully changing our thinking to the positive. Page 276 of our textbook. The highest realization that we can have is a recognition of the omnipresence of Spirit. This will set greater possibilities in motion and will automatically provide a better concept of life. You see, when we recognize that God is everywhere, the omnipresence of Spirit, then everything we see is God, and it is filled to overflowing with unlimited possibilities. What could be a better concept for our life? When we have the knowing and the conviction that God is all there is, we have already begun to free our minds for new possibilities. Literally anything could be possible in our life. So spiritual mind treatment is a key. Another key here to freeing our minds is forgiveness. Bishop T.D. Jakes says, forgiveness is to empower yourself rather than empowering your past. Now think about that statement for a moment. Forgiveness is to empower yourself rather than empowering your past. When we refuse to forgive others or refuse to forgive ourselves, we're keeping our focus in the past. And we can't change the past, no matter how much we want to, no matter how horrible it was, no matter how much we dislike it. We can't change it. But if we can forgive, which is not condoning some hurtful behavior or statement, but it's releasing the power of it. It's turning away from that so it no longer controls our life, so that we can move forward in a positive way. Forgiveness also doesn't mean that we invite the person back into our life and allow them to repeat their hurtful act. When we forgive, we also get to set boundaries for ourselves. And this is healthy behavior. It's good self-care. When we forgive and then take care of ourselves, we forgive so that we can move forward. I have heard it said, forgive means to give the person or situation to God for care. Forgive. So turn the word around. It's to give for. Forgive is to give for God to handle. That frees us to move forward and not be bound by the past. What do you need to forgive yourself for? Or someone else who's holding you back from freeing your mind? These ideas are true and they work, but we must use them. We must use the teachings and the tools of the science of mind if we want to free our minds and allow our life to be the best it can be. I'll close with a real-life example of using the teaching and tools of science of mind. This was from Raymond Charles Barker's book, Treat Yourself to Life. Elizabeth Andrews was in a New York City hospital. She was taken there by ambulance after the bones in her right leg gave way, and she fell on the sidewalk. Her leg was broken. The doctor, examining and treating her, gave her the diagnosis of Paget's disease. That's a bone disease where her bones were unable to make new bones so that they remained strong and stable. The doctor told her that she would never walk again without the aid of heavy braces and crutches. Elizabeth called Raymond Charles Barker, her minister at the Science of Mind Center in New York City. And when he arrived at her hospital bed, she told him what the doctor had said about her never walking again without the aid of heavy braces and crutches. She said to her minister, "I do not want to accept this verdict. Need I?" And let me read to you what Raymond Charles Barker said to this woman. Knowing that this woman was capable of making drastic changes in her thinking and feeling, I answered, "While the factual evidence of bone disease is true, your need to believe that it is permanent is not. You can treat yourself out of this, and I know it can be done." 8 months later, without a brace or a crutch, Elizabeth Andrews walked into her church on a Sunday morning and joined others in the acknowledgement of the power which knows no incurability. How could this happen, you might ask? And Raymond Charles Barker says, life limits no one, offers itself freely to all. If you can accept this new viewpoint, as Elizabeth did, you can treat yourself to greater living. Elizabeth had learned that what man, in his material science, could not do for her, creative thinking could, provided she directed herself. He later says the key to Elizabeth's victory was in her own ability to keep her thinking clear and not to waver in her knowledge of her own creative self as the channel for an unlimited intelligence. She knew that life would respond to her as she responded to it. How can you too can learn to treat yourself to greater joy in living. You see, our mind is the most powerful tool that we have, and there is only one mind. We all think and use that one mind. It's the mind of God. And infinite possibilities are available through this one mind. So are you freeing your mind to live those infinite possibilities? Or are you being held back by your own thinking? This week, consider how spiritual mind treatment can allow you to free your mind and contemplate, is there forgiveness work that you need to do so that you're free from the past to move fully and unencumbered into your future? Here's the spiritual truth I know. You are already enough. You have all you need within you, and that is the mind of God. Use it. Use it to better your life. Free your mind. Let us pray. We pause and take in this powerful message. And I am grateful for the tools and the truths of the science of mind philosophy. I am grateful for Ernest Holmes and how he had synthesized this philosophy so that we can take it and make it our own, that we can understand that mind of the divine is the one mind and that it is within and through each and every one of us. We open ourselves to new possibilities, to freer thinking, to turning away from limiting conditions and turning toward that wonderful life, infinite possibilities, great potentiality of all that we desire as we move our minds to knowing that anything is possible. I speak my word of blessing on each one of us as we do our work this week so that we keep our minds focused on the positive, turning away from what we don't want and keeping our minds stayed on the idea that God is all there is and resting in that truth, knowing infinite possibilities. I bless us each, releasing my word with great gratitude. And we say together, and so it is.
So it is.
Thank you. And now Tammy will lead us in our prosperity.
All right. Wonderful talk, Reverend Rick. Thank you. It helps to make us all more prosperous to talk this. Anyway, our prosperity affirmation for today, and I will say it, and then we will repeat it together. You can look on chat, and the prosperity affirmation is there. And it also has all the ways you may donate to the Louisville Center for Spiritual Living through PayPal, through Zelle, through Givelify, and you may also send a check. All of that is out on chat. This week's prosperity affirmation. I see my good. Got my basket. I see my good. I claim my good. I allow my good. Yes. And if you'll repeat with me, this week's prosperity affirmation. I see my good. I claim my good. I allow my good. Yes. And now Reverend Rick is going to bless our prosperity today.
So we pause and turn back to that place where we are so grateful. Gratitude is always a good place to live. And we are in gratitude for all of the tithes and offerings that come to the Louisville Center for Spiritual Living. I bless each person that gives, and I bless each gift, knowing that it all goes forth to do the work of this spiritual center and to shine the light of truth, the light of love, and the light of joy into the world. I bless each one, and I bless us as a collective community. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you. Now it's time for announcements. Our announcement today is that next Sunday, our speaker will be Reverend Patrick Soren, who is the retired minister from CSL in Denver. And I also have a last minute, most wonderful announcement, and that is that Sonia Hart passed her practitioner panels yesterday. Congratulations, Sonia. We're very happy for you. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
So remember how we clap on Zoom?
Yes.
Congratulations, Sonia. Great. Okay. Now we will move to our, what are we doing next? I think I'm doing a benediction. No, I'm doing a song first.
Very good. That's right. Don't forget it.
Here, Tammy. Okay, Playing for Change Band.
to laugh through all the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too. We gonna celebrate your party with you. Come on. Celebration. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Celebration. We're gonna celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come on. Yeah. It's your celebration.
To last throughout the years.
So bring your good times and your laughter too.
We gonna celebrate your party with you. Come on now.
Come on.
And now our benediction. Know that as you go from this meeting, you go with that light of the divine shining brightly through you in all you do, in all you say, in all your interactions. Go forth into the world and show that love of spirit. Show that grace that you have received to the world around you that needs to feel the love and the touch of the divine through you. Blessings to everyone this week as we live focused on the infinite possibilities of our lives, knowing that it is the truth because God is all there is. And so it is.
And so it is. Yes.